welcome to another day of vlogmas. I'm in Papa's right now and just having a little like solo date day. I'm gonna do a couple of little like holiday things today, but then also we're gonna go to the library. I haven't been in years, like it's literally been so long. So I'm gonna go to the library, and then I want to go to this little like holiday carillon. I haven't been to that since I was a kid too. I'm gonna sit here and read for a bit. So just like lots of fun things, and I feel like I haven't had a little solo date in a while, so it's very much needed. So I'm gonna sit here and read and drink my matcha for a bit, and then we'll head over to the library.
I am on my way, I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. Yeah, let's go outside. We can hang out on the beach without freezing. Yeah, isn't that amazing? In Christmas times, we'll be chilling and having a good time. Doesn't matter if the snow is falling or the wind blows and the rain is pouring. It will always be Christmas in my heart. But this year I wanna hang out with my friends and family, making angels in the sand. You ready? Doesn't matter, it is Christmas in my heart. And I can promise Santa's coming to visit. No, he wouldn't miss this in Christmas times. Oh, and the sunset, it is just getting better on a blanket with the skyline painted in blue. Ooh.
I just got back from Olive Garden, and I had a really nice little date day. It's obviously dark outside, as you guys can see. And I'm going to read. I do need to upload vlogmas for tomorrow, so you guys can watch that. So I got a little teeny tiny bit of editing, but not very much. And then I'm gonna read the rest of the night. The book I'm reading is actually getting really good. I really like Jasmine Guillory's writing. It's really like easy to follow. It's like really cute. On the way to Olive Garden, I was actually heading home, and then I was like, actually, let's like go like, you know, keep this little like solo day going and go to Olive Garden. And on the way, someone's car, I'm taking my shoes off by the way, someone's car needed to be jumped. They were on the side of the road, and anytime I see like a black person on the side of the road, I always stop, and I always think like, okay, if something happens, like, and this is my time to go, like, then just take me, Lord, because like, I feel like more often than not, when someone's on the side of the road, unless it's like the highway or something like that, but like if you're in town, I feel like something probably just happened to someone's car. And I feel like back in the day when I didn't have a car, there were many times that I was like, I wish someone would stop and like give me a ride. And now looking back, I realize that that's not really like something that people do. But at the time, like I was so cold, and I was just walking. Like I didn't have a car for years in college, and I would walk like 45 minutes to get to work, whether it was raining, snowy. A lot of the time, I would take Brady's car, or he would like drop me off. But there were some times where like if he was out of town, like at his parents or something, like I just literally had to walk. And sometimes even like when he was in town and had like football or something, and like had to have his car, like I just had to walk, and it's like whatever. And I think all the time about how I really wanted someone to stop for me. So I try so hard to stop for other people. So I like pulled up, rolled down my window, was like, hey, like you good? Because it was like when there was like a turn about to happen. So the car was just like sitting there, and they were like, oh yeah, like I'm good, but can you give me a jump? I'm like, oh yeah. I was like, I don't really know how to jump a car. Like I honestly need to learn that. But I was like, you can jump it if you know how. So they're like, oh yeah, I bet. So I popped the top of the truck, or hood, I was gonna say trunk, and they jumped their car, and like everything was good, and they came over, and it literally took like 10 minutes, and they were like, thank you so much, like I work, you know, right over here at, I can't remember if they said like Applebee's or something, and it was like 5 minutes from that area, and they were like, I work like right over there, like you know, I'll give you like cash, like here you go. And so they started taking out cash out of their wallet, and I think they gave me like, they had like some bills, like 5s and 10s, 20s, like, and they started just giving me bills. And I'm like, no, like you keep that. And I think it made me really think about how, like it literally took me like 10 minutes. Like, I mean like a max of time, like pop the hood, they got the jumpers on, like literally it was like a max of 10 minutes. It probably was less than that. It was probably like 6 or 7. And I think all the time about how we're so busy, and I feel like we have kind of lost the beauty in community, like true community. Like if someone needs help, stopping for them and helping them, like that kind of community. And I feel like now, especially since this experience tonight, I feel like I'm gonna be even more conscious of like just taking 5 or 10 minutes to like help someone. And that doesn't even have to be like on the side of the road. It could be like, I've seen people who, if they like drop something, like one time I saw this lady at Walmart, she was walking out of Walmart and she like dropped, I can't remember what she dropped. She like, it wasn't her purse, but it was like something, and someone else went to help pick it up with her. And there were only a few things that she dropped. I want to say like maybe 5 things. I can't remember what it was. If it was like, I don't remember. Anyway, not the point, but she dropped like a couple things, and someone stooped over to help. And so I kept walking and other people kept walking, and they probably were thinking the same thing I was thinking, which was someone is already helping. So like they're fine, like that person will help them. But I think just taking that extra time, and even if I bent down and everything had already been picked up by the time that I like got up to where that person was and bent down to help, I think that like that person probably would have been so appreciative. And I feel like I would have been really like learning the, I don't want to say art, but learning how to just be helpful, even if it like doesn't necessarily end up being anything, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I think like if I had just really leaned into the act of service in that moment, I think that that would have been like a valuable lesson for me. Even if I walked up and like, because they were almost done by the time I got there, even if I hadn't been able to help with a ton of stuff, I think any act of service is better than none. So that's really been something that I've been thinking about, like while I was at dinner, and just not just in the Christmas season, but just all the time. I really want to be more mindful of like helping other people with just like small things and just whatever. Also, when I was at the library, I started thinking about how I am so blessed, and I feel like I take it for granted sometimes. Like sometimes I'm just like, oh, like, you know, I have a roof over my head, I have clothes, like all this stuff. And when I went to the library, there's like homeless people there. But also there's people who, like I saw this girl, she ran in and I could just tell she like had a bag and she was like, oh, and she had to be like, I don't know, 12. And I bet her parent probably dropped her off at the door and was like, go in and get your books, because it was about to close. It was like maybe 30 minutes till close. And she probably was like, you know, you gotta rush in, get your books. And I started even thinking about how blessed I am to have the ability to have time to go to the library. Like there's a lot of people who, even though it's a free service, like they genuinely don't have time to like, I don't know, be still and like relax. And so I don't know, I just was thinking about a lot of things. I also did see a lot of beautiful things. Like I saw this mom and dad, and the dad was like reading a book to the little girl, some like, I don't know, princess book, like Disney princess book or something. And they were like, oh, like, you know, do you want us to keep reading? And she's like, yes, yes, yes. They did end up like leaving a little bit early. They probably had to get home for whatever reason, but I thought it was so cute to like see them just sitting there and relaxing and like reading a book together. I feel like we've just become so like rushed where we don't like actually sit and relax. Speaking of sitting and relaxing, I was reading while I was at Olive Garden, and the waiter was like nice, like they didn't say anything about me like reading and stuff, but I will say that I feel like everyone should get a hobby, and if it's not reading, like it should be something, because everywhere I went today, literally for the entire like solo date day, I went to Papa's, I read at Papa's, and I went to the library, I read at the library. I went to the Carillon, didn't read at the Carillon. I listened to like the bells and stuff, and it was beautiful, and we were singing hymns. And then I went to Olive Garden and I read at Olive Garden. And I feel like it made my solo date day really special, because I was not feeling like like I wasn't bored and I wasn't on my phone and I was doing something else. So even if you don't like reading, maybe try like knitting, or try like having a hobby that you can bring with you to fill the gaps. And not that you have to fill the gaps, because I think sometimes stillness is very important, and like just doing nothing. But I also think sometimes we, myself in particular, will like want to do something when I'm somewhere, especially by myself, but I don't have anything to do, so I'll just start like playing on my phone or like texting or something, which takes away the point of a solo date. So I love bringing my book with me and just like reading. I just think it's like really cool. But anyway, that's why I feel like everyone needs a hobby. Like everyone needs a small hobby that they can like just do by themselves quietly with music or something. I think it's really important. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys tomorrow in the next one. Bye guys.